Hello. So today we're going to be working into our hips. So we're going to come straight down onto our backs. So lying down on your mat, bringing the soles of the feet together, just allowing the knees to open out to the sides into Badakanasana. So option to close the eyes. Just connecting with your breath, breathing in and out through the nose, relaxing the shoulders, and just sending your breath to the hip area. So trying to release any tightness and tension in the hips. Nice, easy breaths in and out. Just allowing gravity to take over, allowing the knees to just drop out to the sides. And then placing the hands to the outside edge of the thighs, drawing the knees together, heel toe your feet so that they're at the edges of the mat. And then you can drop the knees from side to side, going from left to right, just windscreen wiping the knees. And then bring the knees back to center, draw the knees into the chest, give yourself a bit of a hug, bit of a rock and roll from side to side. And then keeping the feet together, place the hands on top of the kneecaps, and then open the knees wide. Press the knees away from you, join the knees back together and into the chest. So taking some wide circles with the knees, working into the hips. Taking about 5 like this, and then changing directions. So knees together, pressing them away from you, out to the sides and back into the chest. Again, take about 5 circles. And then bring the knees into the chest. Release the left foot down to the mat and take hold of your right foot with the left hand, placing the right hand on top of the right knee. You might even be able to take the arm around the end of the foot. And we're just going to work that knee backwards and forwards. So really working into the right hip. And then place the right foot on top of the left thigh. Take your hands to the outside of the back of the left thigh, flexing the feet and then drawing the left knee in towards the chest. Maybe using the right elbow to open out that right hip. And then release the left foot down to the mat. Take the hands wide, either capital T or cactus shape, and drop both knees over to the right. So you can either keep the right foot on top of the left thigh, or you can release that foot down to the mat. It's quite a stretch through the left hip. And then come back to center, this time keeping the right foot flat on the mat, left knee comes into the chest, left hand on the top of the left kneecap, right hand on the left foot or higher up if you can't quite reach. And then just moving that knee forwards and backwards, opening into the hip. And then place the right foot on top of the left foot, left ankle on top of the right thigh, taking your hands behind the back of the right thigh, flexing the feet and then drawing the right knee into the chest. Again, maybe using that left elbow to open out the hip. And then release the foot. Bring the knees into the chest. Give yourself another hug. Little rock from side to side. And then we'll come into a happy baby. So place your feet as if you're pressing the feet up towards the sky with the knees bent. Take the hands to the outside edge of the feet and then draw the feet and the knees towards the mat. Taking them to the outside edge of the rib cage. Trying to release the tailbone down towards the mat. Again, nice easy breaths in and out through the nose. And then bring the knees together. Again, take a little rock and roll from side to side. And then place the hands onto the backs of the thighs and take some rolls along the length of the spine. So rolling backwards and forwards along your mat, keeping the chin tucked into the chest. And then the next time you come to the top of the mat, crossing at the ankles and coming up onto your all fours, or just making your way onto all fours with the fingers spread, wrists underneath the shoulders, knees hip distance. So we'll just take a couple of cat-cow stretches just to loosen up the spine, lowering the belly down towards the mat, lifting the chest, lifting the tailbone, and then pressing the mat away. Inhaling and exhaling. So coming to a neutral spine, and then bring the right knee into the chest. Take the right knee out to the side, back behind you, and then back into the chest. So circling that right knee, working into the right hip, taking about 3 or 4 circles, and then changing direction. And then placing the right knee back down on the mat, switching sides. So left knee into the chest, out to the side, back behind you, and then back into the chest. So this time working into the left hip, again taking 3 or 4 circles that way, and then changing direction. Placing the left knee back down on the mat. Take the knees mat width or as wide as you can take them. Bring the big toes together and sink the hips back towards the heels into a wide child's pose, releasing the forehead down. If you've got a block, you can always place the forehead on top of a block. And then start to walk your hands back towards the knees. Tuck the toes under, keeping the feet about mat width, and then coming into your Yogi Squat, your Malasana at the back of the mat. So your heels might be down on the mat, or they might be lifted, in which case you can place a block underneath, or you might be a little higher up and just place the forearms on top of the thighs. So finding your variation of the squat, you don't have to come this low, and then just moving from side to side. So lifting one heel and then the other, and then coming back to center. Using your strength of your legs, coming all the way up to standing, keeping the feet at that sort of 10 to 2 position, and then lowering all the way back down. This time down in your Yogi Squat, place the right hand down and reach the left arm up to the sky. Bringing the hands back to center And then place the left hand down, reach the right arm up to the sky, taking the gaze up to the fingers, working the tailbone down, and then coming back to center. Place the hands down on the mat. Start to straighten the legs. Turn the feet to parallel and then walk the hands further out in front so you're coming into your downward dog. So the feet are parallel about hip distance, hands are shoulder distance. Coming back to the breath, nice easy breaths in and out through the nose. And then keeping the right foot down on the mat, keep the left foot down, sweep the right leg up to the sky into your three-legged dog. You can stay here or you can bend the right knee, open the knee out to the side, keeping the shoulders facing forwards. And then re-straighten that right leg and step the right foot to the outside edge of the right hand. Lower the back knee down to the mat. You can untuck the toes. Staying here or maybe coming down onto your forearms, so into a lizard position. Using the breath. You can stay still or you might want to find a bit of movement in the stretch. And then option to place one hand, the right hand on top of the right thigh, opening that right knee out to the side, so coming onto the outside edge of the right foot and taking the gaze either back behind you or up to the sky. And then a deeper option to bend the back knee, reach back with the right hand and draw the back foot towards the bottom. So a really deep stretch through the left hip. And then carefully releasing that right foot, placing the hands back down to the inside of the right foot. Releasing the left foot. And then tuck the back toes under. Start to walk your hands over to the left, coming into Skandasana. So the right knee is bent, the left leg is straight, sinking the hips down, turning the toes up to the sky. Again, maybe bringing the hands to the heart center or keeping the hands down to the mat. And then you can either use your hands or don't use your hands and walk or come all the way over to the other side. So this time with the left knee bent, right leg straight. And again, either placing the hands down or keeping the hands at the heart center, coming to the center of your mat into goddess pose. Breathing in and out through the nose, sinking the hips a little bit lower, and then straightening the legs, turning the feet to parallel, take the hands onto the hips and take an easy forward fold, releasing the hands down to the mat, bringing the crown of the head towards the mat. And then walk your hands back round to frame the right foot, spinning the right foot forwards and stepping the right foot back to your downward dog. Giving the feet a bit of a pedal, shaking out the head yes and no. And then this time, taking the left leg up to the sky, either keeping the leg straight or bending at the knee, opening the left knee out to the side. Re-straightening that left foot, left leg, and stepping the left foot to the outside edge of the left hand, lowering the back knee down to the mat. untuck the toes. So coming back to our lizard on the other side, staying high up or releasing the forearms down to the mat. Again, maybe just moving side to side or forwards and back. And option to place the left hand onto the left thigh, coming onto the outside edge of the left foot, just opening that left hip a little more. You can stay down onto the right forearm or lift up onto the right hand, and maybe bending the back knee, sweeping the left hand behind you, drawing that back foot closer towards you. So feeling a stretch through the front part of the right hip. And then carefully releasing the back foot. Bring the hands to the inside of the left foot, tucking the back toes under, lifting that right knee away from the mat, and then walking your hands around to the right, around to the center of your long side of the mat, keeping the left knee bent and the right leg straight. So into Skandasana, and then either using the hands along the mat or keeping the hands at the heart center, come over to the other side. This time left leg is straight, left toes pointing up to the sky, and then coming up to your goddess pose. I'll just spin round so I'm facing you. This time taking the arms out to the sides, joining the thumb and first finger, and then picking up the right foot, right heel, and lowering, then the left heel, and lowering. Trying both, sinking the hips low, and then release the heels, straighten the legs. Again, place the hands on the hips, turn the feet parallel, and fold forwards. Releasing the hands down to the mat, just give the head a bit of a shake. And then walk your hands around to frame the left foot. Coming into a low lunge and then taking that left leg back behind you for downward dog. Again, just pedaling out the feet. And then we're going to come down into a plank position. So shoulders stacked over the wrists. Bring the right knee into the right elbow. Lower the right knee to the back of the wrist and come into your pigeon. So the right foot is sort of probably 45-degree angle. And then work the back toes back behind you, release the back foot, take the hands to the side of the hips. If you need to place a block under the right hip, you can do that. Or you can bend the back knee so both knees are bent. And then option to reach forwards, either making a pillow with the hands, releasing the forehead down on top, or extending the arms out in front. So taking your breath to the hips again. Trying to release tightness and tension. And then slowly lifting back up, bringing the hands to the outside of the hips, tucking the back toes under. Lift the back knee and step back into your downward dog. Again, give the hips a bit of or work the feet down to the mat one at a time, walking out your downward dog, shaking the head, and then bringing the shoulders forwards into your plank position. So left knee comes to the left elbow and then lowers down to the back of the wrist. Right foot walks all the way back and then untuck the toes. Make sure the top of the back foot's flat against the mat. Maybe opening the chest before you start to walk the hands out in front or come to pillow with the hands and the forehead resting on top. Again, you can take a block to the outside edge of the left hip for support, or you can bend the back knee, so both knees are bent, maybe sort of 45 degrees, and then fold forwards. So modifying to suit you in all of these poses. And then lifting all the way back up. This time swinging the back leg around to the front. And we'll come into our butterfly position. So bringing the soles of the feet together, drawing them as close towards you as you can. Interlacing the fingers around the edges of the feet, or maybe just placing them onto the ankles or the shins and the calves. And then opening the knees towards the mat and then bringing the knees high. So releasing towards the mat and then lifting. Inhaling and exhaling. And then take the hands behind you. Release the feet so they're flat on the mat. And then just drop your knees from side to side. And then come to an easy seated or kneeling position. Reach your arms up to the sky. Take a big inhale. Join the palms together. And then bring the hands back to the heart center, relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the face, maybe closing off the eyes. Just focusing back on your breath. We hold a lot of emotion in the hips, store our emotions. So you might have released some emotions today, just with opening out the hips. So just accept how you feel. And then taking the thumbs to the third eye, the space between the eyebrows. Take an inhale. Exhale, folding forwards. Thank you very much.